And I am back to share another fun card with all of you. So I'm using the lace card die by Elizabeth Craft Designs for this project. This is a beautiful die which I purchased from one of our local craft stores, Craft Circus. I'm going to start by cutting out some gold foil using this die, and I'm going to pass it through my die cutting machine twice. I did try passing it once, but the cut wasn't too clear, so you pass it twice if you want a nice clean cut. Next, I am going to trim off the flaps because for this project I do not need the flaps, I just need the center of the die cut design. So for this project I'm using 2 white pieces and 2 gold, absolutely beautiful die cut design and very clean cut. Next I take some black cardstock and I align the die to the edge. Basically what I am doing here is that I am tracing the edge of the die because I will be cutting this out using a scissor. Now I am tracing the edge because I want the black piece to be in the center. So I'm just tracing out the outline, and then I'm just going to flip this over and trace it at the bottom too. Next I just use some scissors and cut it out. There you go, it looks like a little bow. Now I adhere the 2 die cut pieces together. I basically offset it a little bit so that the gold is visible from underneath. I hope you can see it here. I do that for both the pieces, and then taking the black piece that I had just cut out, I just line it up to make sure that I've got it right before I adhere it. Okay, I notice there's some gold foil sticking out at the edges, so I'm just going to trim that because I don't want any gold showing out, showing from the edges. I'm just kneading that a bit. Now using some ADX glue, I'm just going to apply it to the edges of the black piece. If you notice, I'm not really worried about going end to end because the black cardstock is a little wider as compared to my die cut pieces. But I'm just going to line it up and make sure that none of the black is showing through the die cut design because I really do not want it showing there. And once I have it right, I'm just going to press it down to make sure it is adhered well and seems like one piece of cardstock. Next I take some dimensional tape, adding lots of teeny tiny pieces to all over the design, and then I just stick it down to my card base, which is 5.5 by 6/1/8 inches. I'm using dimensional tape because I don't want the design to go flat on the card base. Next, I heat embossed the sentiment, which is basically Hajj Mubarak, and I use some Versamark ink and gold embossing powder for that. And I layered it onto some gold foil. Now, whenever the pieces I'm working with, if they are less than 1/2 inch or 1/2 inch in size, I find it a lot easier to stick them down onto the layer and then trim them to size. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Just trimming it and giving it a nice even gold border. Now because I want the sentiment to look like a banner, so I'm just folding the edges a bit just to give it some dimension. And then just checking to see whether it's looking right. Okay. Next I'm going to use some dimensional tape and I'm just going to add it to underneath the sentiment and not the flaps. Because I don't want to add dimension to the flaps, I just want to add it to the center so that it looks a bit propped up. The flaps I just stick down using some glue. Once that is secured, I'm just going to add some finishing touches. So adding some pearls to the edges. So basically the colors that I'm working with here are black, white and gold, which are primarily the colors that we see during Hajj. I have kept the inlay of this card relatively simple. I have just layered some black cardstock, black and white cardstock for the inlay, and added a gold strip on top. And that's basically it. Our card is ready. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're going to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy watching these tutorials. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye bye from Sabah Musharraf.